What is up, guys? It's Doo Poker here, back for another video. Today we are going to be talking about how to play versus fish turn donks as 3-bet pot in position pre-flop raiser. So what I have here is I have a hand, I have some MDA, and we have the solver. So let's get into it. In this hand, I have ace queen off. I am in the hijack. My opponent, who is a very likely fish, RFI is under the gun, and I 3-bet and he calls. The first thing we need to look at is fish pre-flop stats. What do we know about fish? Fish do not like to fold. A fish is only folding to an in-position 3-bet when he is under the gun 31% of the time. What is the GTO percentage? The GTO percentage is around 55%. They are calling, or they are folding 31%, so they're going to be too wide post-flop. Now let's take a flop. We see the Jack of Clubs, 8 of Spades, 7 of Hearts. Let's follow along here. Jack of Clubs, 8 of Spades, 7 of Hearts. The first thing to note is that this is a donk spot for the out of position pre-flop caller. That means on the off chance you're playing against a reg, you should not be c-betting as much as theory. Theory says you should c-bet around 51%. You should not be doing this. What you need to do is you need to node lock under the gun to never donking, and then look at the c-bet frequency. Now it drops down to 26%, which means that this is a lot closer to a range check than a range bet if you're against a reg. But we are against a fish, so we use our fish strategy, which is to c-bet small for range, and my opponent calls. Now on the turn, it gets a little interesting. A Jack of Diamonds comes on the turn, and my opponent donks turn. He uses around 30% pot, and we have another decision to make. We need to look at our exact holding. We have Ace of Hearts, Queen of Spades. Is this a good hand to float turn with? In theory, we always continue on the turn because of our blockers. I have Ace of Hearts, which means my opponent cannot have Ace Jack of Hearts. I have Queen of Spades, which means he cannot have Queen Jack of Spades. I'm double blocking Jack X, which means I always continue in theory. We also know from MDA that fish donk as the 3-bet pot out of position pre-flop caller more than theory. Now, this is cut off first button, but it applies in all formations. They are over donking turn. GTO is 3 to 7, and fish are donking around 8. So, 2 data points that make us want to continue. Now, we call the turn, and the river is a 4 of diamonds. Follow along here, 4 of diamonds, and my opponent, after donking turn, bets around 50%. Now, this is not a GTO line. This is not a GTO line, so we have to lean on MDA. He bets 50%, and now I have a decision to make. We have to look at MDA for check call, donk turn, bet river. What do we see from the field as the 3-bet pot out of position pre-flop caller, fish MDA, under the gun and hijacker combined versus in position? We see they are very, very bluff heavy. That means I have 2 options. I can either call or I can raise. Now I'm looking at my blockers. I see that I block Ace Jack of Hearts. I block Queen Jack of Spades. And I'm looking at this board texture, and there are a lot of pairs like pocket 5s, pocket 6s, 9s, 10s. He's probably not going to call a jam if I jam river with a non-jack. So I make a business decision, and I go all in with my good blockers, and he ends up folding. We know that this is a good play based on MDA because we know the range composition is bluff with air. So versus fish, I get to do this line, and it will be a positive expected value line. You could also call. I think both plays are fine. I chose to raise all in because of my blockers. So this is how you can play against a donk turn bet river line after they call flop. It's very important to understand all the donking lines. This is the check call donk turn bet river line. We will get into other donking lines in the future. I have MDA for all the donking lines. So if you want me to get into that in the future, please leave a comment and tell me which donking line you would like me to review. If you enjoy this type of content, please give me a like, please give me a subscribe. New video every single day, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see you guys in the next video, and take care.